Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Andy Curtis. I am the Senior Dealer Services and Graphic Design Manager here at Transfer Express, and I am sorry for our delayed start. I apologize. We've used the same microphone for years here, and it's not cooperating. Can everybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? There we go. Okay, good. Whew, all right. I'm sorry, everybody. We've used the same microphone and headset for years, and suddenly today it decided it didn't want to work. So I am so sorry about that. Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get moving then. Oh God bless technology, right? Um, okay, so I am going to join you today to talk about printing and selling wedding favors and bridal gifts. I hope everybody is ready for some fun ideas here. We uh, we have put our heads together, the marketing department here at Transfer Express, and we have come up with all sorts of fun ideas and items and things that you could do to use your heat press to customize things for the wedding industry. We wanted to come up with as many ideas as possible for how you could secure this type of business. And frankly, when it comes down to it, this is one of those fun little parts of the industry that 10 years ago probably wouldn't have existed, at least not to the degree that it does today. Today, the bridal industry is a whole different kind of beast, and the idea of customized printing fits in perfectly with the bridal industry. So the goal of the webinar today is going to be to give you all kinds of ideas and concepts and things you can do to use your heat press to make things for the bridal industry. We're going to talk about everything from art to actual heat pressing ideas and locations and stuff you can do. So if you have never joined me before, then welcome. We are recording the webinar today. So if you miss anything, we will have the video posted to our website, so you can always go rewatch it. We are also featuring a couple helpers behind the curtain here, so everyone saw the chat box. So if you have questions and I am not answering your questions, my helper, there we go, both helpers. My helpers behind the curtain here will answer your questions. I will do my best to answer questions as well. So if you have anything that I am not covering or something that I have missed that you want me to speak to, don't hesitate to pop a question in there. Um, so with that being said, we are going to go ahead and get moving then. So let's talk about printing and selling wedding favors and bridal gifts. And there you go. So the first thing I wanted to drop on all of you is a quote here from Kristen Maxwell Cooper, who is the executive editor at The Knot. So this is a great quote that I think pertains to all of us, and it's a good way to start this webinar out here. Couples are spending their budgets to focus on guests. They are taking care of them and showing them a very personalized experience, said Kristen Maxwell Cooper, executive editor at The Knot. But personalization is not cheap. So I figure this is a great sentiment to start this webinar on, because in the end, we all know that weddings themselves are not cheap. But here's the beauty of where we as decorators fit into this. This is definitely not a market that we would traditionally think of as being part of our spiel here, right? Having been in this industry for 16 years myself, like I said, about not too long ago, I wouldn't have thought of weddings as being really part of my industry, but lo and behold, here we are. So as a facet of the industry that's not necessarily something that we think of as primarily being our shtick, we have a lot of fun things we can do for these folks who are looking for that customized, personalized wedding experience. And the best part about it is Ms. Cooper here is telling us that it's not cheap. Well, it doesn't have to be, but this is where we have the opportunity to kind of slide in here some of the traditional wedding outlets and wedding decorators and the people who normally are part of the wedding industry. We certainly have the ability to slip in here and create a cost-effective personalization, customized wedding experience for people, or at least some of the bits and pieces. So just a thought, just something to start us off on the right foot here. So before we actually talk about ideas, I want to put more of a business-related idea in your head as opposed to just creative ideas. So where do you find wedding customers? When all is said and done, how are you going to locate people who are looking for this type of business? And when it comes down to it, the ooh, no sound. Well, I hope everyone else still hears me. I'm sorry, Mark. Where to find these types of customers? If you're looking for somebody to help with a wedding type event, or you're going to put this kind of business out there, you have to ask yourself, where are the wedding customers? There we go. Thank you, Sigrid. Um, so you have to ask yourself, where are the brides and grooms? Where are they? How do you find them? And I think we all know, if you're not familiar, the two biggest places to find the brides and the grooms who are looking for a customized experience, those types of couples you're going to find on Etsy and on Pinterest. Those are going to be the two most visited websites for the people out there who are looking to make their own very special wedding experience. And I'm sure I don't even have to give you too many examples here, guys, because we all know that one bridezilla, right? We all know that one lady or that one guy whose wedding is the be-all, end-all for them. And they have spent countless hours trolling the lists in Etsy and Pinterest and going over the little details and the customized ideas and the centerpiece concepts and all that kind of stuff. So we all know Etsy and Pinterest are two fantastic places to drum up this kind of business. And the approach can be different here, setting up some kind of Etsy store with examples of customized stuff, some of the things I'm going to show you today. Setting up an Etsy store would be an easy way to go about doing it. Pinterest, setting up your own pin board with some of the things that you're capable of doing, putting the ideas out there, definitely a keen marketing tool for you. Aside from Etsy and Pinterest, Facebook, of course. Facebook, lots of wedding talk on Facebook. I think you probably have a little bit more luck and a little bit more marketing power behind Etsy and Pinterest, perhaps, but Facebook is a great way to do it. And another way to look at it, all of us who are in this industry where we use heat presses and we use screen printed transfers and different transfer material, we all know that the local high school is a great place to drum up business and the local sports teams. But if we're going to talk about wedding industry and we're going to talk about this crowd, we know that there are tons of bridal shops out there. Now there's the chain ones who are going to be a little bit harder to form some kind of relationship with, but there's all kinds of mom and pop wedding locations and bridal shops and wedding related businesses that are all over the place still. And I can only use tiny little Mentor, Ohio, Lake County, where we're at as an example. But if I was going to go beating on some doors and trying to drum up this kind of business, I know that there's a couple locations I could go to, some local mom and pop bridal places where I could go to them and show them, hey, here's what I can do if you don't mind me setting up a display in your store, or if you don't mind recommending me for brides and grooms who come in looking for this kind of stuff. There are plenty of places out there who again, the chains may be a different story because they tend to have their own resources and their own agendas for that matter, but the local places are still in existence. Not to mention, there's all sorts of things these days. In Cleveland, there's always bridal shows. I feel like they're constant, actually. We have a mall right here in the city of Mentor, Great Lakes Mall, and they have bridal events a couple times a year, actually. Not to mention the big bridal show in Cleveland at the IX Center. And so I know that in just our little neck of the woods here in Ohio, there's all sorts of ways that if I were going to try to get this kind of business, that we could certainly go about doing it. So when it comes down to it, in your neck of the woods, all you need to do is simply ask yourself, where do I find the brides that are going to be looking for customized stuff? All right, so let's move on. And we're going to talk about ways to do it cheap as you are planning on your bridal decoration, whatever it is that you're going to be pressing. And we're going to go over some ideas of stuff you can heat press in a second here. But before we actually talk about the things you can heat press onto, what I want to point out to everybody what I want to put out there is that when you're actually ordering your transfers, when you're actually putting your transfer order together, the best way you can go about saving cash, and how you do this is up to you. If you want to pass that savings on to the bride and groom as a discount, or if that's simply some more padding for your pocket, however you got to do it. The point is gang sheets. Gang sheets, gang sheets, gang sheets. The paper we print on here at Transfer Express is 11 and a quarter by 14, and you can fill that paper up from side to side and top to bottom. Go bonkers. You see in the example here, we have got bridesmaid in a couple different fashions. We got some big bridesmaids and some little bridesmaids with the cute little hearts and the swooshies. And then we've got bride set up the same way. And in the end, you've literally got 6 transfers on this sheet. Now, the catch to this, of course, is that this is going to have to be hand cut. And on some level, can that be a little bit of a pain? Sure. You're going to have to take a pair of scissors and hand cut this. You see, we've ganged it up very intricately. But in the end, the amount of money you can save by squeezing as much artwork out of that one sheet of paper, it is worth the time you will spend sitting with a pair of scissors and cutting this apart. Trust me. Plus, what's great about gang sheets like this is if you were to order this and then order, say, and of course this is going to depend on the size of the bridal party you're working with, obviously, but if you were to order, say, 10 to 15 sheets of this, when you look at the per sheet price, it may seem like it's a little bit more expensive, but then you realize there's 6 images on this sheet, so whatever price you end up going with, you divide it by 6 and you discover that it's actually very cost effective. And by ordering 1 or 2 extra sheets, you put yourself in a great position to do those last minute things they may add on, or even show them other things you can do. These tiny little left chest designs of the bride and the bridesmaid, those are great things to have because you can use those to actually show the couple other things that you're capable of doing. And we're going to go over those examples in just a minute here. But point being, it's great to have these kinds of extra things around. All right. Welcome, Cheryl. No such thing as too late. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about time reduction. So one of the things that we want to do is make this as easy for you as possible. So when it comes to artwork for the bride and the groom, we have got you covered. There is a ton of artwork in our website, in our catalog. Our Easy View, which is the online design tool that you saw in the last picture and in this picture here. The Easy View online design tool is preloaded with 10,000 pieces of clip art and 5,542 layouts like the one you see on this page. So for those of you who are not familiar with the terminology, a layout is a design that we have pre-put together for you that has text and clip art and formatting and all sorts of stuff. Like you see there at the bottom where it says the expert in anything was once a beginner. That is a layout. So the idea is you can take that layout and you can change it up to look however you want. You can see here on my example, we literally just took that word expert, changed it to the word bride, leave the cute little swooshies on it, and eliminated everything else to make this cute bride design, right? And yes, Brian, absolutely. Brian's asking, can a design for a transfer be saved on my local computer to allow me to use it to make a banner with the same design? We can assist you with that, Brian. We would be able to assist you in a different way. I'm going to tell you to keep tuned in, and we're going to actually talk about that exact concept in a couple minutes here. So hang tight on that one. But in the meantime, our goal is to save you as much time as possible, and you can use our artwork to make your life so much easier. The bride and the groom may have an idea for what they want their artwork to look like if they're ordering custom t-shirts or custom tablecloths or whatever custom stuff they're going to order from you. They may have an idea of what they want design-wise, but that does not mean that you can't show them the catalog in our website and show them the cheapest way to do it, which would be to go out of our catalog in our website. So the best part about this too is that if you use the Easy View online design tool, you can actually design the artwork right there in front of the bride and groom. As long as you have an account with us here at Transfer Express, you have free access to Easy View, so that's phenomenal. And the second best part is that it's easy to use. You do not have to be a graphic designer. One of my favorite parts when we do training of our new customer service team here at Transfer Express, one of my favorite things is we have them log on to EasyView right at the beginning of their training. We have them log on to EasyView and we give them a quick 10-second explanation of how EasyView works, and then we just set them loose and tell them, go ahead and design a shirt. And it's always such a fun experience to watch what they come up with and to watch them click and learn, and it's all sorts of fun. So anyway, so the artwork that we have on our website and in our catalog is a great way to save you time and to save you energy. We're going to keep clicking here, and I'm going to show you some examples. So when I was telling you about layouts a second ago, these are some examples of some layouts. Now, here's what I want to point out to everybody is the layouts that you will see in our catalog and on our website, they have themes. So we have layouts that have sports themes and family reunion themes and church themes and all kinds of themes and themes and themes. But what I want to put out to you is that if you see a design that has some kind of slick concept to it that looks neat in some capacity, but maybe it's a lacrosse or a field hockey or a football design, remember that that layout is made so that you can adjust it and you can customize it however you want to. On the previous slide, the example that I showed you was kind of a motivational design, but we turned it into a bride design. And all of the layouts on this this slide here are good examples of this. So you see some of these layouts are Valentine's layouts. One of these is a breast cancer theme layout, but you could exchange the breast cancer ribbon for something else, and you got the word love in there, stick a heart maybe. I mean, there's all sorts of ways you can take a design that might be geared for something else and turn it into the perfect bridal design. And I point this out because in the end, we do have some wedding related and some bachelorette related layouts in our catalog, but you don't be limited just by those. Look throughout the rest of the designs and make something special. And to that effect, once you've chosen a layout, the clip arts within the layout can all be customized and changed. We've got a ton of clip arts, over 10,000 clip arts, but what I wanted to point out here is we have over 150 heart clip arts. That's a lot of hearts. So regardless, the point here is that we've done our best to try and make this as easy as possible for you. You don't have to be a graphic designer to do this kind of bridal stuff. You don't have to have the experience with the design side of things. You can use our website and you can make your life so much easier. The other thing I want to throw out there, I know I'm kind of selling this to you guys as a way to reduce time and not be a graphic designer, but this is actually a way to save some cash as well, because anything you do out of our catalog and off of our website is much more cost effective. You do get a cheaper price for it being out of our catalog and off of our website. The cake looks delicious. You know what? I just had Arby's for lunch, but I would take a slice of that, sure. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some ideas here. So now that we've discussed artwork, we've discussed some ways to save some money, some ways to save some time, let's start talking about ideas and things you can do to attract this bridal business. And we're going to start simple here. We're going to start with the ideas that I'm sure everybody has had at some point, or maybe you've even done these types. And actually, here's a great question, just for the sake of asking. Has anybody out there actually done these kinds of bridal shirts before? Has anybody actually had the chance to do shirts for a bridal party or for any of that kind of stuff? Yeah? Okay, good. Oh, wow, look at that. A bunch of yeses right off the bat. Oh, wow, good Lord. Look at you guys. All right. Well, see, you guys have already done some of this. That's good to see. So we know that this is probably the simplest version of this, right? The bridal shirts, the bachelorette type shirts, these are the easy things. And I see some of you have actually already made the point I'm about to make. I've done metallic prints on cute tank tops. Good on you, Janet. Cindy says, yes, I've done some with glitter. That's great. So you're beating me to the punch here. This is exactly where I was going to go. This is the simplest way to go about getting bridal business. So custom shirts for the bachelorette parties and for bridal trips or bachelorette, bachelor trips. And don't think that the guys are above this, because the guys do bachelor shirts too. I have seen them done. And Pat Wilkins, glitter vino before vows. Oh, Pat, that's fantastic. Everyone take notes. That's a great one there. Vino before vows. Um, so speaking of that, Pat, another real big theme right now, and this is just what's hip at the moment, is bride tribe. That's a big one right now. So here's our suggestion for this. When you're doing bachelorette shirts and bachelorette party stuff, bachelor trips, that kind of thing, don't skimp on the artwork. Remember that this is something that's supposed to be flashy. This is something that's supposed to get your attention. So all of you guys who've actually done this kind of stuff with the glitter and the foil and the metallic, that's dead on. That's what you should be doing. But remember, it's not just about the flashy type of ink. It's also about the artwork. So make sure you capitalize on that artwork. The example here, we're using some of our new clip arts, a boho feather and some boho flowers. Again, it's meant to be attractive to the current hip brides out there in the world, to each their own, of course. But the other thing that I want to throw out to everybody too is not just the front of the shirt, not just having bride and bridesmaid and having that kind of design on the front, but remember we have player names here at Transfer Express, and just because you're not doing a sports shirt doesn't mean you can't use a player name. So player names are a fantastic way to customize the back. You can see on the back of this particular tank top, what we've done is we've put two player names. One of them is the name Abby, but then the other player name, we put the actual wedding date. So, and again, player names, crazy cost effective, crazy cheap, just a couple bucks. So doing two player names on the back of these tank tops, super easy way to make it even cuter, to customize the shirts with the girls' names on it. That's right up the alley of the types of brides who would be doing these sorts of things right now. And I've got another shirt example for you here on the next slide too, just to give you sort of, I want to show you the stereotypical, the cute tank top, as somebody put it a couple minutes ago, but I also want to show you another example of something else sort of outside the boxy. So this is another example of a bachelorette trip, or it could be a bachelorette party, or it could be a bachelorette baseball weekend. But this is a good example for a bride who maybe she is a baseball chick, maybe she played baseball in college, maybe she loves baseball. Holly's final swing before the ring. We've got that baseball heart clip art that makes it perfect. That's one of the 150 heart clip arts we have. And again, these Raglan style athletic t-shirts are fantastic because they've got the right colors. They come in pink. You can make the bridal party look sort of that baseball theme. We've got numbers for the backs. And again, there's a couple different ways you can do this, but I thought this was so slick. And kudos to our marketing department for thinking this one up. On the backs of these Raglan shirts, you've got either bride or bridesmaid or some kind of cute saying, but then the number they did is the year that they met the bride. How cool is that? I thought that was pretty slick. But again, when you're setting these up, make sure that you're using as much space as possible. Use the entire sheet. Make sure that, I mean, in the end, you're paying for that 11 1/4 by 14 sheet of transfer paper. You may as well fill that sucker up. Put as much on there as you can, and don't forget to use our express names for the individual personalization as well. And what I want to throw out too, before we keep going, because I'm going to forget to say this, I don't have a slide for this, but one of you guys actually, a couple of you had mentioned this, that there are different ink types. Some of you said like metallic for bridal shirts, and I think I saw somebody else say glitter. We can accommodate all those things. We have glitter transfers here at Transfer Express. We have colors like metallic silver, metallic gold, and metallic graphite. And are you all ready for this? I don't know if any of you have seen it yet, and I wish I had a picture to show you here, but we have a brand new metallic rose gold. Ooh. The brand new metallic rose gold color is another great bridal option. And I think I don't need to say the brand of cell phone that has the rose gold out there, but we all know there's that popular brand of cell phone that comes in rose gold. So we've got metallic colors, we've got glitter colors. Our glitter product, you can do multiple colors. We've got a bunch of great options. Woohoo, rose gold. We've also got pearl prints. We have these fantastic pearl print transfers that are sort of like, imagine a cross between glitter and flat ink. If somebody liked glitter but didn't want to go the full effect of actual flakes of glitter, our pearl print has a shimmer to it, but is still a flat ink that isn't actually pieces of glitter, so that's fantastic. And I agree, my helper's absolutely right. The pics don't do the pearl prints justice. She's totally correct there. Pearl prints is a fantastic looking thing. The photographs, you can't really tell how pearlescent it is, but if you've never had samples of pearl prints, don't hesitate to call up our customer service team and ask for samples, because you can't get it from the photograph. You got to actually see it. Okay, so t-shirts are the easy stuff, right, guys? Oh, just bought it yesterday. Good for you, Cheryl. So t-shirts are the easy stuff. That we all know how to do t-shirts. We've all done t-shirts. So what I want to do, the next whole bunch of slides here, we're going to talk about some outside the box ideas, some different stuff other than t-shirts that you can do in terms of bridal decor. All right, so the first one I've got for you here is favor bags and napkins. Favor bags and napkins. So the catch to these is you're going to want to make sure that the fabric you're pressing on is cotton or polyester. If you're going to use our screen printed transfers, and that's what we've done here. These are screen printed transfers. Now, before anybody asks, if you're looking for, if you're the one who is not only in charge of the decorating and you're also the one that's supposed to be finding some of this stuff, there are fantastic wedding related heat pressable things you can find at your local craft store, let me tell you. And that's what we've done here. So the napkins, for example, this is the type of stuff you can snag at a craft store. You can either have it cut down, or a lot of times you can actually buy these sorts of things already packaged, bagged up, ready to go. And these tiny little favor bags, it's one of those things it's almost silly because it's this tiny little bag, but in the end, it is a great touch to be able to say, for the bride and groom at least, to be able to say that they had customized favor bags. So what you put in those bags, that's up to the bride and groom. This can even be little potpourri settings at each table or what have you. There's a lot of neat things you can do with that. But the point is, the bags that we found at our local craft store here in tiny little Mentor, Ohio, were kind of a cottony type material and easily heat pressable. Just remember to ask yourself, when you're looking at outside the box ideas and sort of things you wouldn't normally think to heat press, the catch is you want to make sure that they lay flat enough for you to heat press them. That's always going to be the catch. Ooh, good question, Suzanne. Can it be printed onto burlap? You know what? Yes, Suzanne, you can heat press onto burlap. Here's the catch to printing onto burlap, and actually, I'm going to show you a picture of a transfer on burlap in a couple slides here. The catch you want to make sure when you press on burlap is that if the burlap is particularly rough, like really, really rough, the transfer isn't going to sit totally flat, and the straight lines may look a little wavy-ish at first glance. You just got to remember that the transfer is going to take on the texture of the garment you press it on. So if it's super rough burlap, the transfer is going to look a little rough, but hang on tight. I'm going to show you a picture in a couple slides. It'll look fantastic. Either way, the point here is napkins, favor bags, two really slick examples. Again, make sure they sit flat and make sure it's a cotton or a polyester material. All right, next idea. Pillowcases. Has anybody ever done a pillowcase before? Any of you guys out there ever done pillowcases before? Here are a couple slick ideas for pillowcases. Now, this is the kind of stuff that these might not be favors at the wedding. These might be things that are just cute little things for the bride and groom in terms of gifts. These might be the types of things that the bridesmaids or the groomsmen are looking for. Ooh, Judy, you've done these. Cool. Good. Pillowcases are one of those things that we get calls for periodically here at Transfer Express. People will call up and go, hey, can I actually press on a pillowcase? It's one of those things that you don't necessarily think about, right? Oh, okay. A couple of you guys have done pillowcases before. I personally have never actually done a pillowcase. I've never had an opportunity to do this, but I have to say some of these are pretty slick. I like this. My favorite is that bottom left-hand picture. This is my side. I like that. That's good stuff. Love you more. Queen of his heart, king of her heart. Mr. Beast and Mrs. Beauty. That's that's a good one. Um, so point being, pillowcases are great wedding gifts. They're great little gag things for the maid of honor and the best man to do, perhaps. These are the types of things that are slick for you guys to do up and put on your Pinterest or to put into your Etsy store. Are you going to make a killing on pillowcases? Probably not. But these are the types of things that your customers might not realize they can do. So it's great for you to put this kind of stuff out there because if nothing else, just like we're trying to give you ideas right now, you're going to be giving them ideas. So even if you don't make a killing in pillowcases, it's a great thing to put out there. You never know who's going to roll with it, right? All right. So honeymoon tote bags, honeymoon tote bags. We all know tote bags are phenomenal. If anybody out there is like my mother collects tote bags like these. She's got tote bags for every occasion. The woman never passes up a tote bag. Um, we all know people like that. Tote bags are always popular. So what we've done here is the theme we went with was that it's a honeymoon themed tote bag for the bride and groom, but you don't have to go with that necessarily. You could do tote bags that are themed for the wedding, for example. This could be the little gift at each table. Now, if it's a huge wedding, this might not be cost effective, but a smaller wedding might be totally doable. Uh, I, my wedding, I only had a grand total of 50 guests, so tote bags totally work for us. But everyone's a little different. Either way, the point is there are always things you can do with tote bags, be they for the honeymoon, be they for actually like wedding favors kind of stuff. They're super cost effective these days, and the other thing to put out there too is that you've got sort of two levels of tote bags. You've got the polypropylene tote bags that are super duper cost effective, and then you've got the ones that are a little bit more traditional fabric, whether they're canvas or whether they're just plain cotton. In the end, I would go with a cotton tote bag over a canvas one personally, but either way, both kinds of tote bags are super cost effective these days. What I want to put out there to everybody is if you do roll with this tote bag idea, aha, Brian, you set me up perfectly. So Brian made the comment here in the chat box that I was actually getting at right this very second. Brian says, I thought polypropylene melted in a heat press. So here's the catch. If you are going to do tote bags, and you are going to do polypropylene tote bags, which I encourage you to try, make sure you get our ElastiPrint transfers. Polypropylene does melt at a certain temperature. Now, I don't want to make a real set in stone blanket statement, but polypropylene tends to melt around the 300-degree mark, give or take-ish. Our ElastiPrints press at 275 degrees, give or take-ish. So the ElastiPrints go on polypropylene without a problem. So if you are going to do the tote bag thing, and I'll put it out there that tote bags are another fantastic bridal item, like I said, whether the honeymoon or for the wedding itself or favors or whatever, polypropylene is always going to be the way to go for that because they are so cost effective. Just make sure you get the right one. Yep, you got it, Cheryl. ElastiPrints. So that's our tote bags. Let's continue the bag theme, and let's talk. I forget who was asking about this a couple slides ago, but somebody asked about burlap. Whomever you are, here it is. Here's the burlap photograph that we've got. And I don't know where we found that wine tote, but that is a really nice wine tote. Gotta love that one. Point being, wine totes, can coolers, these are perfect things to have on the tables at the reception. I will tell you that this one surprised the heck out of me. A couple of years back, the whole can cooler craze becomes such a big thing. I was shocked. I had no idea can coolers at weddings. I don't. Was anyone else surprised by this, or is it just me? Can coolers at weddings. I never would have thought about it. I had a buddy who is into hunting. He's a hunter, and I don't know how he did it. He convinced his bride to be that one of the favors on the tables at their wedding was camouflage can coolers. I don't get it. More power to them. But point being, these are some more slick ideas, and it's funny to know that there's so many weird things out there that can serve as bridal gifts and bridal stuff and all that. The bag that is on the top right here, the blue bag with the white on it, that is felt wine tote rather, and the one on the left is the burlap wine tote. So two fantastic ideas, and then of course can coolers. Can coolers. We did a whole webinar on can coolers once years ago, and what's funny is since then, can coolers have taken off. You can find can coolers of any kind you could possibly imagine out there on the internet. I probably don't even have to tell you guys that, but if you're looking for unique can coolers, they are out there. You just got to do a little bit of Googling. There are tons and tons and tons of places to get can coolers these days. So lots of options. All right, so the next one I think is a slick idea. We can print on felt now. How cool is that? Absolutely, absolutely. Keep in mind, actually, Cheryl makes a good point here. There are different kinds of felt out there. You just got to make sure you get the right stuff. Felt is one of those materials that's made out of different things. Back hundreds of years ago when felt was a brand new concept. Felt was actually made out of wool, believe it or not. These days, obviously, it's made out of a synthetic material, but some of the synthetic felts melt and some of them don't. It just comes down to making sure you get the right kind. This is why you go through a warehouse that is geared towards our industry, because they know, the decorating industry knows, that everything has to be heat resistant. So definitely a neat thing, right? Anyway, so this next one that I'm showing you here, this is satin robes for the big day. Satin robes for the big day. So there's a couple things you could do with this. For the bride or for the bridesmaids even, or maybe this is maybe it's not just for the big day. Maybe this is part of the bachelorette party. But before we get into all the possibilities and we talk too much about these robes, here is what I want to put out there to everybody. Satin. Satin is heat pressable. You can heat press onto satin, but did you know did you know that satin is actually referring, when you say satin, it's actually referring to a weave, not to a fabric. So you can have satin that's made out of silk, you can have satin that's made out of nylon, or made out of polyester. It's not about what it's made out of, it's about the way they weave it that makes it satin. So here's the catch for you guys out there in heat press decoration land. If you're going to roll with this idea, make sure you snag polyester satin. If you're going to use just plain old screen printing transfers, you're going to want to go with polyester satin. If you're going to do nylon satin for some reason, you're shoehorned into that, then you're going to want to use our digital CAD print product. Will work on the nylon satin. But before you agree to do satin robes for the bridal party, make sure you know if it is polyester or nylon satin. I'm going to assume that nobody's going to try to heat press onto silk satin, because that's a whole different, that's a whole other thing. You don't want to heat press onto silk satin. That'd be silly. But we found these satin robes super cost effective, $15.99 a piece. We found them on Amazon.com, and there are a ton of colors available. So these were just some slick ideas of stuff you could do with satin robes. There's all sorts of other things you could do with this. I could foresee some really neat bachelorette party robes with some really cool designs. Again, as long as it's polyester satin, that would be no big deal at all. There we go. So how about spa slippers? Or this is this is a good pre-wedding, I think, because we all know how the bride likes to take her bridesmaids out for that pamper day, the day before the wedding or right before the wedding. We know that they like to go out and do that, get their nails done and the hair done and the feet done and all that kind of stuff, the pedicures and the manicures and all those things. Um, so again, this is another slick idea, and when it comes down to it, you just want to make sure you're looking at what the fabric is made out of when you're buying these types of things. You'll notice that, again, we're showing you where we found these on Amazon. 2 waffle open-toe adult slippers cloth. So again, these ended up being a cotton product. Our screen print stuff works on the cotton without a problem, so easy peasy. The other thing I want to throw out to you guys is you notice the size of the transfer here. The transfer that we put on those bridesmaids, those are actually the heart sizes from the gang sheet that I showed you at the beginning of the webinar. That gang sheet with the brides and bridesmaids designs with the hearts and the swirlies and all that. These are the heart sizes. This is why I was telling you all that it's so nice to have those extra heart sizes, why it behooves you to put them on the gang sheet, because then you can cut them off and do random stuff like this. So definitely a good idea. And our shoe platen that we offer here at Transfer Express, our shoe platen for your Hotronix heat press makes pressing on these things super duper easy. You could do this without a shoe platen, but it would be a gigantic pain in the hiney. So honestly, if this was going to be something you would pursue on a regular basis, I would invest in the shoe platen, bearing in mind that you could do other types of things other than just slippers with the shoe platen, but just putting that out there. Okay, so this seems like a no-brainer, but I'm just going to put it out there anyway. Rhinestones. So this is one of our stock rhinestone designs here at Transfer Express. Did you know we do rhinestones? There you go, Cassandra. That's what I'm looking for. We do rhinestones here at Transfer Express. It might not be in our name, it might not be a screen print product, but rhinestones are just one of those things that rhinestones and screen print go together hand in hand, honestly. So this was another one of those easy peasy options that you could really have some fun with. Now, it is worth pointing out that the only one that we stock is the word bride. So if you did want to take this design and work it into some kind of bridesmaid related design, we could do custom rhinestones. They are not cost prohibitive. They're a little bit more expensive than stock, obviously, but it is doable. It is possible. These are actually Rhine studs, I believe. These are the stones in this picture. There we go. Yep, they are the light pink studs. So these are not actually stones. For those of you who don't know the difference, a rhinestone is when it's a clear diamond-like stone. A Rhine stud is when it is like a metal stud you would find on your jeans, perhaps, or like a metal stud. So, just another slick idea. Oh, and thank you. Yes, the little coin purse here came from Joanne Fabrics. Or I guess these days it is called Joann's, isn't it? Force of habit, stuck in the past there. But this is another one of those slick little gifty things that comes super duper cheap at your local craft store. So again, when you're doing this type of heat pressing, make sure that you've got something that is cotton or polyester, and make sure that it will lay flat enough for you to get it into the heat press. Ooh, less than $2. That's actually, see, that's pretty much a steal. $2 for the coin purse, $2.50 for the transfer. Holy cow, that's not bad at all. And I'll put this out there for everybody too. This is the kind of thing that is also fantastic for your Facebook page, for your Etsy store, for your Pinterest board. This is the kind of stuff that is going to get people to look at it. And gosh, being able to do this for $4.50 your cost, holy cow, you could really put that out there. Well, Cheryl, we can help you out with that. If you have questions about rhinestones, or you want to get into rhinestones, you want to know more about rhinestones, hit us up, give us a call. We can walk you through that. All right, so golf outings. Now, this is obviously more of a groom thing than a bride thing, but I've got a couple groom suggestions here for you. Definitely more of a groom thing, but golf towels. I think we probably all know at least one of those guys, or maybe it's just me. One of my guy friends was getting married not too long ago and invited us out to a golf outing. Now, not particularly my thing. I'm not a good golfer. Um, oh, okay, lady golfers too, but definitely a great option. We have a ton of golf designs, so it would not be hard at all to go through our golf layouts and turn it into like a wedding golf party or the bride's golf party or some kind of groomsman related thing. So it would be super easy to do. And this is something we can help you with. Our Transfer Express apparel selection has a ton of golf towels. There's options out the hoo-ha in terms of colors and sizes and textures and all sorts of stuff. So just another one of those ideas to put out there to you that if you do have somebody that is going to do like a golf outing for their wedding, whether it's the guys, the girls, or both, another fantastic option is golf towels. Chair covers and tablecloths. Chair covers and tablecloths. So here's what I'll put out to everybody is you can easily heat press onto this stuff. Make sure, number one, that you don't have any weird seams in the way of anything. Make sure that the chair cover that you're going to press is going to lay flat. Tablecloths, obviously, very easy. They lay flat, but make sure your chair cover, if you're going to do that, lays flat or it sits on your heat press nicely, because there are some kinds of chair covers out there that are a little bit more involved and have some seams in some funky places, which will make the heat press process a pain in the butt for you. But aside from that, there are tons of chair covers out there. If you are looking for these types of things, if you Google it, you will discover there are a couple websites that specialize in tablecloths and chair cloths and chair covers. They are all over the place. Make sure that you're getting a cotton or a polyester. If you're going to get something that's more shimmery, shiny, nylon-y type stuff, you're going to need to go with our digital CAD prints instead. But this is another one of those things that's just such a slick idea. I'm sure we've all had that situation where you rent the hall, you rent the space, and the chairs. The chairs are always ugly. I think it's just one of those facts of life that when you rent a space, it will be possessed of the ugliest folding chairs you have ever seen. So chair covers are definitely a great idea, and it's one of those things that I don't know how many people realize they are easily decoratable. I don't know how many brides and grooms out there really realize they could have customized, personalized chair covers. So another fantastic idea. And whatever you do with the chair covers, it's very easy to do the same thing with tablecloths. Tablecloths, obviously, even easier because they sit flat in your heat press. And we know that tablecloths come in a whole assortment of different kinds, all heat pressable materials. So definitely an easy way to easy thing to decorate right there. And I've got some non-apparel things I want to show you guys here too. So we've talked about all these things you do with your heat press, but what about non-apparel? What about using other stuff? So we do stickers here at Transfer Express. I have a whole array of different types of stickers out there. So this is an example of something that's even crazy easier, honestly. The artwork you see in the sticker on the right-hand side there is one of our pieces of clip art. You could easily add some text to that. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas or something to that effect, and slap one of those stickers on some beer steins. It's easy to find cheap blank beer mugs like this. And there you go. You've got customized beer mugs for the bachelor party, for the or the bachelorette party. Let's not discriminate. But definitely a slick idea here. We have all kinds of stickers depending on what you want to put a sticker on. The mugs that we're showing you here, just one idea. That's vinyl on the mug. Yes, Cheryl, it is a vinyl, sort of like a relative to vinyl. It is a sticker, though. And Larry is asking, how well do the stickers hold up to washing? We have run just a plain glass tumbler, Larry, with a sticker, one of our just general use stickers. We've run it through 5 wash cycles in the dishwasher rather, and they held up just fine after 5 washings. Obviously, at some point, the sticker will start to peel, but this is where if you're looking for something more permanent, we do have window stickers that are meant for obviously like the window of a shop. A window sticker is going to be more just a tad more expensive, but it's going to be more resistant to water and to other stuff. So window stickers are certainly an option, but if somebody's looking for cheap, cost effective, the general use stickers are a little bit more cost effective, and they do hold up through a couple washings in the dishwasher. So that's another great idea. And banners. Banners. There's always something you could do with a banner, and somebody was asking about banners actually. So I don't remember who was asking about that at the very beginning of this webinar, but we make banners too. So if you have a design that you put on the bridal shirts or the bachelorette shirts or something to that effect, and you want to take that same design and turn it into a banner, no problem. We have got that under control. We've got all kinds of banners, whether it's going to be something for the reception. We did this. We rented a great hall for our reception and discovered that, oof, these walls are totally bare and sort of boring. So, banner, why not? Another great use is for the back of the getaway car, right? Just married. I would not have thought of that. That's a slick idea. So, banners are another great thing in terms of the bridal industry, another great item to put out there. And these are vinyl banners. They come in two different kinds. We've got luster and we've got gloss. It depends on what finish you want and depends on how cost effective you want. The gloss being the cheaper, and the luster doesn't reflect quite as much light, so it's easier to read, easier to see, and it's also a little bit on the weather resistant side. But luster is a little bit more expensive, so just a couple options for you there. And great suggestion out there from Cassandra. Dollar Tree has a great selection of beer mugs. They come in several sizes, and wine glasses too. Agreed completely. God bless Dollar Tree. Lots of that kind of stuff at Dollar Tree. Okay. Hoo-ha! That was a 50-minute webinar on how to print and sell wedding favors and bridal gifts, guys. I hope that we put some new ideas in your head. I hope that we gave you some tips that you can take out there and use to your advantage. I hope that we got your creative juices flowing. If you have any questions, whether it's about this webinar, about any other webinar, if you'd like a copy of these slides or you want to know where the video is going to be posted, any of that kind of stuff, don't ever hesitate to give us a call. Shoot us an email. info@transferexpress.com is the email address that goes straight to our marketing department. Oh, that's enough out of you behind the curtain there. Flattery gets you nowhere. But hit our blog as well, blog.transferexpress.com. Our marketing department does a great job of putting out some really slick blogs on a regular basis, whether it's ideas on ways to drum up business or ideas for things you could heat press. Definitely hit our blog up. And watch our videos at transferexpress.com/webinars. So, Janet says, one more idea, beach towels as gifts for the bride and groom. Janet, that's fantastic. And you know, actually, Janet, I will back you up there because blank beach towels are super easy to find these days. Back in the day, it would have been harder to handle, but these days you can find blank beach towels everywhere. So. All right, everybody. The next webinar is going to be on March 8th at 2 p.m. Come join me, and we will talk about marketing strategies to grow your business in 2018. So as opposed to it being a webinar about ideas on what you can heat press, we're going to talk about ways to market yourself and get yourself out there, ways to advertise, ways to tell people who you are and what you do. This will be a fun webinar, lots of interesting information. And I got to see some brainstorming from our marketing folks on what that webinar is going to contain, and I'm actually looking forward to presenting it to you. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me today, guys. Shoot us an email, give us a call if you have any questions, and I will join you next month. Have a fantastic rest of your day.